Hello, beautiful soul family. Rebecca here, your vibe mentor. Welcome to Monday Magic Intuitive Energy Reading, where I offer you my take on the current energies, what I've experienced this past week, what guidance is coming through right now for how to navigate the next week. Oh boy, did we have a doozy of a solar storm the last couple of days. How are you feeling? Did you also have a headache? Because just about every single person that I talked to did. And I certainly was pummeled by the energy yesterday, especially. It was quite interesting. So we had quite a bit of solar activity. We reached a KP5, otherwise known as a G1 solar storm, on Sunday, yesterday, and today it continued and we hit KP6 or G2 this morning. I have not checked it in the last couple of hours, but I do believe we are on the decline now. So ideally, it was interesting because we were at a KP5 yesterday, but the headache was tremendous. And today at a KP6, it's not hardly anything. And so I really find this solar weather pretty fascinating. We are approaching a solar maximum. So solar minimums and solar maximums are typical. They happen frequently. There's a pretty consistent cadence where we can estimate when the peak will be within a few years. And for a while, they were saying anywhere between 2023 and 2026. They are now being more specific and saying between January and October 2024. So we are in the thick of it. Yes, and I did just check the chart. We are on the decline right now. So I'm feeling relief. Hopefully you are as well. But just to kind of give you a sense of what we've been experiencing, in a solar minimum, a C-class flare is about all you'll get. Whereas now in our solar maximum, we are receiving multiple C-class and sometimes M-class flares per day, versus an M-class solar flare would be pretty rare, if not non-existent in a solar minimum. We have, like I said, C-class and M-class flares almost daily, and we even had an X-class solar flare. I believe it was Thursday late in the day. I really felt the impact of it on Friday. That felt very blissful. So it's so fascinating how the experience of it can vary. And it's interesting when you think about the sun and solar flares and space weather and coronal mass ejections and things of this nature, and put that in the context of spirituality and how we are light and information is light. And even when the sperm first meets the seed, or the egg within the human body, there is a flash of light. So light is very important. Light is information. This is why sun gazing is so amazing and it feels so nourishing. We need light, and we are progressing towards light bodies even. So if you think about these solar flares, when this information is coming in, it can be taxing for the system. And depending on the level of information that is being received, we may experience more or less ascension symptoms, as they call it, physical impact, as I would prefer to say. Yesterday, especially in the morning, the pain, the headache is always for me on the right side, and there's tension in the neck, and there's even a sort of a knot that I get at the base of the neck there. But it will radiate all throughout my arm and my shoulder. It feels a lot like a pinched nerve. And yet it will not, like, it's not here today. There's zero reason for it to just come on one day. And every single time I have that kind of pain, I can go look at the NOAA website and I can see the evidence that something's coming in. Oftentimes I'll feel it before it's even registering on the devices. So it's really fascinating that I've seen a KP8 on the index and not felt that kind of pain. So it really is interesting to me how different the energies can be, and as far as what we're receiving. So yesterday morning, I felt especially, it was as if it was like a pressure bearing down. Even just as I would meditate, I could feel like the throbbing, not a headache throbbing, but more, it was as if there was like a physical weight or pressure coming down into my body, onto my head, onto my body. So it's definitely, from my perspective, I feel very strongly that we are receiving information. And of course, if you were to stick your finger in a light socket, you're going to feel a buzz, you're going to feel a jolt, your body's going to feel fatigue. Even if there's lightning will activate the nervous system. That's why I talk so much about the nervous system and trauma and healing and all of these things, because we are a vessel. We are kind of like a lightning rod, or a Tesla tower is kind of how I like to think of it. The divine energy comes down and moves through us. And so it's important to understand this physical vessel, how it operates, and what the signals are. So when we are receiving something like this energy that was coming through the last 48 hours-ish, maybe even a little bit more, we have to have grace for ourselves. We have to have compassion for ourselves and recognize that we are dealing with more than we typically would. And so if we're tired, we need to rest. If we, are feeling highly emotional, it's important to look at what is the need, what need is being pushed up to the surface through this energy, so that we can make the change to meet that need. And it's serious when the energy caused a radio blackout for 30 minutes in the US. We are electromagnetic beings. Imagine what that has done to our body. So really go easy on yourself when you feel these kinds of energies. Recognize if you're feeling highly emotional, you're feeling aches and pains, you're feeling fatigue. Just have that moment of grace to say, there must be something coming in, and I need to take care of myself right now, and shift your day around so that you can take a nap or take a warm bath. Put your feet on the ground. Feet on the ground, grounding tends to be the most effective strategy for me when this energy is coming in, because Mother Earth will help pull the excess energy from your body. This is why we have to ground our house. Otherwise, your TV would fry out. We are just like that. We need to have our feet on the ground every single day. Otherwise, there's a buildup of excess energy in the body, and it creates that fatigue and disease and all sorts of things. So as far as the Schumann resonance, it was pretty calm, pretty quiet this week. A little bit of amplitude on Thursday, but beyond that, not much to speak of. So when these things are coming through, it's important to recognize that we are receiving, I'm hearing upgrades. We are receiving information. We are receiving energetic information. And sometimes that can look like emotion. Sometimes it can look like a physical ailment. Regardless of however it shows up, we can always remember the universe is always conspiring in our favor. Life is happening for us, not to us. And so whatever is being pushed to the surface, whatever's calling your attention, is what's being asked to be worked on in that moment. So I heard a lot about emotions being a big thing yesterday. And when we refuse to look at the changes, or we refuse to do the things that we are asked to do by God, the divine, the universe, we will feel a spillover. We will feel extra pressure in these moments to make the changes and to do the things that we are being asked to do that we have refused to do. And I, of course, and I say this hopefully more often in the near future. I haven't said it enough in the past, but I want you guys to remember, I'm just the messenger. I am not on some pedestal as having it all figured out. This is just the awareness that's moving through me and being delivered to you. So these messages are not lost on me. There's things that I was asked to do that I took over a year to do in the business that I'm finally implementing. And man, can I tell you the relief and the release when I finally did what I had been asked to do for a long time. Things like slowing down, doing less, letting go of some of the things that I had overcommitted myself to. These moments are tolerable. They are more easily handled when we have done the things that the universe has asked us to do. And so we're always leveling up. We're always taking the next step towards oneness with our creator. So we can trust that even though the thing that we're asked to do doesn't make sense, it's illogical, we can trust that when it comes from the divine, this is the next right step. Everything is in divine order. And so if big emotions came up around something, take a look at what is it that I need to address? What is it that I'm being asked to do, and make those changes so that the next time this type of energy comes in, you feel less pressure. There's less spillover. It's easier to handle, right? We get pushed so that we will make changes. I've heard it said that there it's interesting. I didn't plan on sharing this, but there was a group of beings who lived in third density and didn't have difficulty or negative experiences, and they did not ascend in the way that they were asked to because they didn't have the difficulty. So this, while it's not fun, and we don't have to learn through suffering forever, but at some point it is necessary to get us to make the changes that are required. And when we make those, we will get to a place where we no longer have to learn through difficulty and suffering. So in order to minimize our suffering, we have to make the changes that we are asked to, right? It says we'll have to do the thing eventually. So why suffer more, right? That's kind of the best point. It's like avoiding the dentist. And when you finally go, it's not half as bad as you thought it was going to be. And you're so much better off because you've maintained your dental health, or, you've ended a problem that was causing you suffering. So you're eventually going to have to do it. Why not do it now? Remembering too, that you are a powerful creator. This is a very, very strong theme that is coming through for me this week. You are a powerful creator. I think some people question whether or not it's true. Is it really true? As within, so without. Is it really true that I can manifest? You know what? Call it manifesting, call it creating, call it whatever you want. But at the end of the day, I have personally seen the evidence in my life. I am a creator, and I am creating all the time, and I may as well do it consciously, because the subconscious or unconscious creation, more of the same, really sucks. And so I'm done with that. So we want to recognize that if we are stagnant, if we are stuck, if we are refusing to make the changes that we know that we are being asked to make, we are recreating more of the same things in our life, more of the same theme in our life that is causing us to feel stuck, or to causing us to feel an overspill of emotion. So really look at, what are you creating? Because you're creating all the time. The question is, are you creating consciously or unconsciously? And you can look around your life and see, what are you experiencing? Do you love your life? Are you happy to be here on planet Earth right now? And if not, that is pointing to the fact that you are unconsciously creating suffering and difficulty, and not to beat yourself up, because that can happen very easily. Oh man, I drew this into my life. I must be doing something wrong. I'm failing. I'm not getting it right. Don't go there, because we have all been there. And this is the current lesson for humanity, is to learn to own our creative ability, take responsibility for our creative power, and start to wield our power consciously for the good of humanity. And so if you look around your life and you see that I'm not real crazy about the way things are going, we take our power back by recognizing, okay, this is an echo of the past. This is created by previous thoughts, previous beliefs, previous behaviors. I'm not loving this, so let's create something different. Let's get conscious about how I created this experience that I'm not enjoying, and really look at, what do you desire, and where are you misaligned to that? If it's health, right? If it's wealth, if it's love, if it's connection with others, look at what are the thoughts and the beliefs that you are holding on to, or clinging to, or refusing to let go of, that are creating this undesirable experience. What needs to be healed? This is why, as a trauma healer, a practitioner, I could go as far as to say therapist, although not yet licensed, this is why the healing, this is why the shadow work is so important, because it hides in our blind spot, it hides in our subconscious, and it causes us to keep recreating on autopilot more of the same until we look at what needs to be healed, so that we can finally know and embody our creatorship, that we can start to create something new and different. We can't just consciously say, oh, I'm worthy. Oh, I'm letting go of these things. We really have to get into the subconscious. Your conscious brain is very different than your subconscious. And unfortunately, the subconscious wins every single time over the conscious brain. So you can sit there and say, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds all day long and not accomplish a single thing until you embody the belief that I am a creator and there is infinite potential. I am one with the creator of the universe. There is nothing off limits for me. Let me figure out what is it that is causing me to keep going back to creating this old thing. How do you own your creatorship? By looking at the things that are undesirable in your life, taking responsibility for the fact that we are creating that, and being willing to look at what beliefs do I have around this topic that need to be shifted and changed. Remember, you get what you tolerate. So if you are willing to tolerate the way things are, you're not willing to do the shadow work to look at what is it that keeps recreating it, then that's where you're going to stay stuck. And it'll continue to perpetuate until these moments like this solar storm that push you to the limit, that say, I am done, no more. No more. When you finally get to that point and say, you know what? I have had enough. I am fed up. That's it. I will not tolerate anymore. I am creating something new. That's the moment that things will change. And until you get there, they won't. So it's time to own your creative authority, take responsibility for the creative power that you have been gifted, and that the divine is calling on us to learn how to utilize. This is how we create heaven on earth. This is how we end human suffering, all the good things. Be responsible with your power. You are a creator. We're about to approach a new year. What a perfect time for a new you. This is the best Christmas present you could possibly give yourself. Become the creator. Own your power and authority. Take your life back. I love you, my friends. Make sure that you like, subscribe, share if there's anyone who could benefit from this, and I will see you on the next one. Namaste.